Hello everybody, welcome to ScottyDGaming. I'm Scotty D, and today I've got my review of The Council. Roll the intro.
Well done, Mother. You just had to pick up Von Burchart's trail on your own, didn't you? You ditched me in Paris with no explanation, and off you go to infiltrate one of the world-renowned receptions of this Lord Mortimer? And now he writes me to say that you've gone missing on his private island? Which, by the way, looks more like a big rock than a paradise island.
The Council is a story and dialogue choice-based game along the lines of the Telltale games. If anybody's played those, they'll enjoy this. Except, I think that this is actually a better game. It's got additional elements. They've introduced an RPG skill tree which actually works and benefits the game. The choices do make a difference, and the characters are so much more fleshed out than any other game in this genre. I think it's a true masterpiece. You play as Louis, the main character, and the game starts out throwing you straight into the mix of things. You're strapped into a chair, back to back with your mother, getting interrogated, and not long after that, your mother goes missing. You're invited to a mysterious castle, and as soon as you step foot on the island is when the game introduces you to the three different skill trees: Diplomat, Occultist, and Detective. Each skill tree is very, very different. For example, Diplomat concentrates on etiquette, politics, and diversion, typical of politicians. The Occultist delves in science, occultism, manipulation, which this is the skill tree I picked, and I just manipulated the shit out of everyone. It was absolutely hilarious. But the third skill tree is Detective, which is kind of like if you were a detective in the police force. It concentrates on questioning, psychology, and logic. As you progress and level up, you'll earn skill points, and those skill points you can put wherever you want in the skill trees, depending on what skills you value the most. And once you rank up these skills, you get additional benefits like reduced skill cost and things like that. But you're not locked out of using skills from other skill trees, which is an excellent, excellent move. Instead, it requires more points that you need to put into those skills to unlock the benefits. The way they've implemented this skill system is absolutely perfect. Every character you come across has got a strength and a weakness. In-game they're called immunities and vulnerabilities. Now when you come across a character for the first time, you're not going to know anything about them. You're not going to know what they're strong or weak against. And to be honest, when I got to the end of the game, there's some characters I still didn't know their vulnerabilities or weaknesses because I never tried something they were strong or weak against in a conversation with them. And that's why it's good to fail sometimes. Other games in this genre, if you fail, it's generally always a bad thing. In this game it's not. If you try, let's say, manipulation against someone and you don't get the desired result, it's okay. Continue. It'll flag up in their character menu that you realise and recognise what their weakness is, which will help you later on in the game. This is why it's not always good to play this game as if you want to get the right answer all the time. It's organic, and it's one of the very few story-based, conversation-based games I've played that allows you to learn from your mistakes without restarting over. The story's split up into 5 episodes, all with 3 or 4 chapters each. Every chapter you'll have a main objective, which is always visible in the upper right hand corner of the screen, and that's the main goal you need to achieve to progress. There's no map markers to guide you, so it doesn't lead you on where you have to go. You do have to explore, get to know the castle, get to know your way around. It's not too big, but it's big enough for you to investigate and miss things if you're not looking close enough. Now you are rewarded for exploring. It might not be apparent straight away. It's not that instant gratification that you might get with other games for exploring. But what you might find is gossip, information, digging the dirt on other people on the island that may not be useful to you now, but it might be able to be used as ammunition against them later on in the game. You won't ever know if you need to use that, but when the time comes, it's good to have that ammunition. For example, you might find something that you can use against someone that you don't like, or it's really hard to go into a conversation with them because they don't like you. But if you've got something to blackmail them with, oh you little fuckers, I didn't hesitate to blackmail anyone. Maybe my experience is going to differ from anybody else who plays this, because I played this like an absolute ruthless cant. I manipulated people, I blackmailed them, I was ruthless. But it was so fun because the game allowed me to do that. If you want to play the game as an angel, a little innocent being, I'm an open book, I let everybody know what I'm up to, then you can do that. And I reckon, like in the real world, you'll get walked all over. Whereas I played this like a closed book. I didn't give anybody any information that they didn't need. I lied to people to get my own way. I stole things to get my own way. It is brilliant. Now you might have noticed throughout this review, I haven't told you what the story's about, other than that you're on an island looking for your mother because she's disappeared. And that's because I don't want to spoil the game for you. I really, really don't. You need to go into this blind and just enjoy the experience for yourself. But what I will say is, the game isn't just what you think it is from this review. About halfway through, you'll start to realise that the main objective of you being here is not what your final objective at the end of the game is. You're going to come across a lot of twists and turns, a lot of information that comes to light that's going to change your whole perspective. And throughout, the developers have done an excellent job of keeping the atmosphere sinister, overbearing, and very, very dark. You always feel on edge, like you don't truly know everything about what's going on, and that's an excellent feeling. Too many games now, you know everything as soon as you start them. It holds things back, requiring you to piece things together yourself. And one thing I will say is, by the end of the game, if you're observant, you'll see so much foreshadowing. Just by looking at the design of the castle, the artwork on the walls. It's great. It gives you that light bulb moment when all the pieces fall together. Now, because the game is based on the real world, you're going to be exploring a wide range of subjects varying from religion, politics, geography, history, and mythology. Certain puzzles in the game use these topics for you to solve and investigate to proceed. However, people with existing knowledge are rewarded because they don't need to use the game's mechanics to uncover the answers. They can go straight to the answers if they know it from their own personal lives. But this does not hinder anybody who doesn't have that knowledge, because then they can use the game mechanics to explore for themselves to progress. It is really, really well implemented. And also, speaking about puzzles and solving them, if you can't solve a puzzle, it's okay. Normally, the way they design the puzzles allows you to fail. Just you have to suffer the consequences, so you'll never or very rarely be in a position where you're stuck, unable to progress because you can't solve a puzzle and having to resort to a guide. You don't have to. The best way to play this game is to be true to yourself. If you don't know something, if you can't figure it out, fail and proceed, suffer the consequences. It makes it for a more personalised experience. And as I've said before, the way they've implemented failing sometimes makes it more rewarding in the long run. So stick with your choices. It's the best way to play. I can't explain how good the game is just by telling you in a review. You really, really have to go and play it for yourself. So that's it, lads. That's the end of the review. Go out and buy it and play it. Enjoy.